Today's synth video is a mini review of a mini synthesizer. This is the VOLCA FM2. It's an updated version of the VOLCA FM with some new features. It's a mini review because there's already a lot of info out there on the old VOLCA FM, and mostly this is the same synth, but with a few new additional features. So I'll be focusing on three things: what I really like about it, who it's for, and one potential big negative. Let me start with one of my favorite sounds. And this sound inspired me to make a beat, so all the sounds you're hearing in this demo are from the VOLCA FM. I've recorded them into the Machina Plus. I'm also playing it live. The VOLCA FM has been upgraded from 3 to 6 voices, and this makes a huge difference for what you can do with it. You can now play big chords, for example, which in this tiny package is great, especially for anybody needing some FM sounds for, say, their live rig, and having that available in this really small package with 6 voices is kinda great. At its core, it's still the same 6-operator FM synthesizer, but KORG have also doubled the presets or program slots from 32 to 64. KORG has also added a reverb, so now in addition to the chorus, you also have a reverb effect, which to my ears sounds pretty good. They have also added a randomizer functionality, which is quite useful since programming sounds on the VOLCA FM, well, it's not exactly that easy. KORG has also removed the DIN MIDI input in favor of an input and an output on TRS-style connectors. This means that you need an adapter to connect something, an adapter like this, and I personally prefer the DIN MIDI connectors instead of the TRS connectors. But one advantage here is that you now have an input and an output, so you can actually use the output to use the sequencer on the VOLCA FM to sequence other gear, which is not something you can with a lot of the other VOLCAs that only have the MIDI input. And I also get that there's not a lot of space here to work with, so we have to make do with what we got. So let's talk about what I really like about it, and that is its sound. Now, you might say, Bo, isn't that what should be important with any synthesizer? Sure, of course the sound is important, but I'm talking about a standout feature here. So in some cases, it's the entire package, it's the workflow, it's the combination of sound and effects and the workflow, and in this synth in particular, it's the sound that stands out to me as the main selling point. You're getting a really nice sounding FM synthesizer. Because the thing is that all FM synths don't sound equally as good as the KORG VOLCA FM, because it sounds really vibey and nice. It has sort of this warm and fuzzy tone to it, which I can't say for all FM synths. VOLCA FM also has an arpeggiator. With different time divisions. And if you're familiar with any of the other VOLCAs, there's a nice sequencer. It's quite usable. You can also record parameter automations into the sequencer. It's very easy to operate. It's quite useful. You can also chain different patterns together, and the patterns are 16 steps, but you also have different speeds at which the sequencer can run. The sequencer, as opposed to the synth itself, is very easy to edit. So you hold function and you can, for example, clear all the steps. You can clear the motion sequencer. And there's also, you can set different tempos for the sequencer. And we also have some program settings, for example, program random. So that's one of the new functions. We can basically randomize a program. Let's do it again. I mean, I'm doing this real time and sure, it's a lot of bell stuff, but wow. It's kind of nice. I mean, this program randomizer is quite useful, I think. Ooh. I find that the new randomization feature is quite useful. Like I said, it's a little bit of a difficult synthesizer to program on the unit itself unless you're very familiar with FM or if you are okay with using this little cheat sheet. So to me, the inclusion of randomization here really helps because you can quickly just randomize a new sound and find something that sounds interesting and fun. I've been doing it now for a couple of minutes and it's not very difficult to get something that sounds interesting, just randomized. There we go, bells. So while I personally really like the form factor and the sound of the VOLCA FM, there's one thing that I don't like, and I think it can be a deal breaker for some people. And that is that the VOLCA FM is quite difficult to program unless you know your FM or is okay with some menu diving and using this little cheat sheet. Basically details where every FM parameter is located within the menu system. In terms of editing a sound, we have two layers to it. So you can edit a sound by using these knobs here. We can change the attack of the carriers, basically the operators making the noise. And we can change the decay. We can also change the attack and decay for the modulator, basically the operator that is modulating a carrier somehow. We also have control over LFO, so we have rate and the depth. We can also change the algorithm, and these are the algorithms, and they basically show you where a certain operator is located in a chain, and whether it's a carrier, basically an operator that makes a sound, or a modulator, something affecting the carrier. That was the same sound that we just heard, but I just changed the algorithm. Same sound, just change the algorithm. So just by using these basic controls, we can change up the sound quite a bit. And of course we have the randomizer, which is also really useful. But to edit the program even further, we have to press edit. Now we can actually switch between the different operators. And using this knob here, we can change different values. They are located on this side here. And then you can change the value using the slider here. And it's very quick and easy to jump from one operator to another. But it does require that you either know FM pretty well or is willing to experiment or use this parameter list. Compare this to the KORG Op6, which is probably the easiest FM synth I have ever tried. The Op6 just makes FM a lot easier due to the physical design it got. The design is just really good, whereas the VOLCA FM requires you to know quite a bit about FM and also understand the menu system to make good use of it. There's plenty of tutorials on it, however, so if you're buying one, there's a lot of resources out there to help you. But I found that programming sounds on it was a little bit of a cumbersome process, and I think it's better viewed as a really good preset player, or if you're a real FM enthusiast, you will have a lot of fun programming on it, but for many of you, it will be a bit of a headache, I think. There are also some odd limitations, like there not being a quick way to initialize a preset. The low number of preset slots seems really limiting to me. It's also frustrating to load presets into it since it lacks USB and a convenient librarian, like for the Minilogue XD, for example. So if you want a convenient FM synth, the Op6 is the way to go. And if there's space issues in your studio, if you want something small for the live rig, this is it. So who is the new VOLCA FM for? Well, does vibey FM sounds in a portable form factor sound great to you? Well, there you go, that's what you get. You also get a useful and easy to use sequencer. It can record melodies, chords, progressions. You can chain patterns together for longer sequences. So that's what you get. But if you want an easy to use FM synth, I'd look at the Op6 from KORG. It's just way easier to operate and makes more sense for a beginner or somebody who really want to explore FM but doesn't want the headache of all these menus. So those were some of my thoughts on this refreshed VOLCA FM. I had a lot of fun with it, think it sounds great, could definitely be useful in many of your setups, depending on your needs. So let me know in the comments what you think about it. Is this an interesting synth to you? How do you find the programming on the older VOLCA FM if you've had one? I'm sure that people are interested to hear your thoughts down in the comments. And as always, have a great day and I hope to see you in the next video.